Well, hi everyone. I'm John Redland with a real honest rant called Separating the Wrestler from the Person. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's about the wrestler's gimmick or character, how they are, whether it's an extension of their personality or, something totally way far away from how they really are. And the person, because sometimes the best characters are played by shitty people, and the worst characters are actually played by really good people. Sometimes the worst bad guys or, bad girls or heels are actually pretty damn good people. And sometimes the baby faces, the good guys, the good girls, the ones that you cheer for, that you see as heroes, actually aren't really all that, all that good. Now, here's why I'm mainly doing this. Recently, with all the discourse and all the stuff that's been happening, with protests and a whole bunch of stuff, and that's a whole other can of worms I'm not going to get into, some people have been showing their true colors, so to speak. Now, a lot of people have come out in support and have done a whole lot of stuff and have, promoted positive change and that kind of stuff and have done it in their own way. Donation links, ways to support that kind of stuff. And not just this, but a whole bunch of stuff, especially this year, with pretty much everything on the goddamn planet going wrong in one form or another. Even though there's been some good stuff, 2020 has been a really fucking weird year. Some people have handled it well, some people haven't handled it well. I also would like to take this opportunity to say that some of the people I'm going to talk about here and some of the stuff I say may seem like I'm trying to contradict myself. I'm actually not trying to contradict myself, because I've had some people in comments and on Twitter say, you got to learn to separate the wrestler from the person, that just because maybe they aren't the best person or they're ignorant or, they turn out to be racist and they turn out to be, maybe not the best people, doesn't mean that you should discount their careers. And that's true. You shouldn't discount their careers. But who you are as a person does reflect who you are, how you are perceived on camera. And if you continue to stick your foot in your mouth, so to speak, and become an idiot and show that you have just a complete blind view, or you're just blinded by hate, or you're just blinded by the fact of your own ignorance, and you don't see what's going on in the world, and you just want to live in your own little bubble. We all live in our own little bubble to an extent. We all have things that we want to believe, that we don't want to believe. I'm as guilty of that as anyone else. I'm not going to sit here and try to say, I haven't said shit on Twitter and I haven't said shit on my videos that, not necessarily that I want to take back, but it's okay, maybe with the benefit of hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I also try to choose my words carefully while not apologizing for really anything I say. Now, when I have said something wrong, which we all do, I do try to apologize, because I am human, and everybody that watches this is a human. Or you're a robot. I don't really care. If you're an AI program, I don't really know if you can understand right from wrong, but, well, Skynet hasn't taken over yet, so we don't know if Skynet can do good AI. Enough about the Terminator movies. What about this is important? Well, wrestling, as it continues to change and as we continue to find out more about a lot of people and our heroes and our, idols, and a lot of people that we currently watch and that we used to watch, that aren't in the ring anymore. Let's be honest, guys. They're all humans and they should all be treated as such. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean I'm not going to get a little bit angry during, some of these people, or, when I talk about some of these people. But I also offer in the comments for you guys to tell me, how wrong I am, or how right I am, or what you think. And did your opinions change about any of these wrestlers? Did you view their work any differently after they did certain things, said certain things, showed their true colors, or whatever? Because obviously at the top of the list, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan with the racist stuff, on that sex tape and other stuff that he has said. To say he's divisive would be an understatement. Now, there is no discounting Hulk Hogan's career. The man, yes, he did hold some people down, use a lot of creative control that he said he never used, bullshit, but as far as drawing power, as far as how he was in the ring, the box office, the amount of merch that he sold, what he was able to take wrestling to, yes, with Vince McMahon's vision, even though he was doing pretty well in the AWA and was getting over, WWE and Vince McMahon, they were able to get Hulk Hogan to pretty much be the superhero. Now, it turns out that he wasn't really all that great of a superhero. He was the guy that turned out to really hate black people, even though he claims that, what he said was said in a period of depression. I speak as somebody that deals with depression and anxiety a lot, and I speak as somebody that used to be incredibly racist. A little bit of a sidebar here. I used to be incredibly racist and incredibly homophobic, and I don't shy away from it. Now, I'm not anymore. Yes, I do make bad jokes, but I make jokes about everybody. I joke about myself more than anything. But that being said, there's a difference between jokes and having absolute hate in your heart, and having that much hate. It's just uncalled for, and you don't hate somebody because of the color of their fucking skin, guys. Even if you've dealt with people, groups of people, or whatever, even if you had stuff in your life, you can't hate somebody because of how they look. You just can't hate somebody. Oh, this person's black. This person's, this person has a, believes in the Muslim faith, or this person, or oh, I hate her because she's a woman. Oh, I hate somebody because they're gay. That's fucking stupid to feel. That's fucking stupid to say. And because it's just fucking ignorant. Now, having anger towards people is natural. That is something that we are going to have to just come to grips with as humans. I'm not saying I don't. But just, again, to finish up the sidebar, I basically had a situation happen where somebody came out to me when I was in high school, because I was racist and homophobic all the way up to high school, and basically they came out, and then, long story short, I realized I had to change. My brain's like, what are we doing? We need to change this. And from there, even though it was a slow process, and apologizing to people for being wrong, because I had to realize the changes that I had to make. Now, back to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan did not show accountability. He was only sorry he got caught. Now, there is, obviously nobody would like to get caught at a sad point in their life, but Hulk Hogan didn't show accountability. He just said, hey, be careful what you say on camera. That's not an apology. Now, maybe he apologized to some African American talents, or all the African American talents in WWE, and former, agents and current wrestlers. Maybe he did. I don't know. I'm just going based on what I believe and what I feel like, in the broad strokes of all this, of this entire story. Hulk Hogan did not show enough accountability, and yes, for all his drawing power and the fact that his career is tremendous, the person, pretty much a goddamn piece of shit, and really not necessarily, having the best views, kind of a narrow-minded view of a lot of things. If you ever checked out his Twitter, provided that you're not blocked, I'm pretty certain I'm probably blocked by him, even though I've never tweeted him directly, or at least not in the last number of years. Yeah, Hulk Hogan, kind of a piece of shit, but you can't deny what the guy did for wrestling. Yeah, he held Randy Savage down, and he shouldn't have fucking done that, and that was fucking bullshit, but that being said, had an incredible amount of sellouts, huge run in even AWA. He was starting to rise up, WWE, WCW, and yes, he was used as a nostalgia act by the time he came back in 2002, as he should have been, because he was like 51, 52 years old. But drawing power, when people think of wrestling, even if they don't watch currently, they'll, Arn Anderson said that's that thing that Hulk Hogan does. They know that. And then we get to people like Chris Jericho. Now, Chris Jericho, as far as a commentator, as far as a wrestler, he has achieved a lot more with little than most people. He shouldn't have been the kind of guy to make it as far as he did, because it is a big man sport. But you could tell he was driven all the way back in, his Smoky Mountain Wrestling days, even though that didn't last very long. He had a short run in ECW, did stuff in WCW, the conspiracy theory thing, and his stuff with Goldberg, trying to get that over, and then coming to WWE and having to cut his teeth there and work with China. And I mean, the China feud was fine, but that was actually the first thing he could really sink his teeth into after his debut, where he called out The Rock, and that was some pretty good stuff. But then all through his career and everything, you had sympathy for the guy, because he really did work hard, and he, has band and everything, and he was in and out of the company, and then he finally left, went to New Japan, had one good match, and then subsequent matches that weren't really all that good. Though the match with Tanahashi wasn't that bad. But now he's in AEW, and they're all inclusive. They have, they have Nyla Rose, transgender woman, as she was their women's champion. She no longer is. She lost to Hikaru Shida. She will get the championship back at some point. But that was what they wanted to promote. They wanted to, the company wanted to promote, hey, we are giving a transgender woman, showing that we are inclusive, showing that that it doesn't matter who you are, it matters how you are in the ring. And then Jericho last year, I think, had Donald Trump Jr. on his on his podcast. And yeah, I'm just putting it right out there right now. Fuck the whole Trump family. I don't like the Trump family. They're pieces of shit, and I don't really care if anybody's upset. It's not even about a conservative thing. It's not about a liberal thing. It's not about that. It's not about Democrats. It's not about Republicans. There are bad people on all goddamn sides. Politics are fucking stupid. But Donald Trump Jr., the whole Trump family, pieces of shit. And I was worried there when I saw that with Jericho, but it's like, oh, I just want to include all sides. Okay, you know what? Podcasters have done other stuff. But then you got the whole Black Lives Matter thing going on. This is probably where people are going to shut this off. I don't really care if anybody gets offended by this, but when he tweeted all lives matter, you're missing the point if you say that. And here's why you're missing the point. We've had it easy. White people have had it easy. I'm just saying it. White people have had it really fucking easy. Yes, some people have had hardships depending on where they've grown up and everything, but hate to say it, we're not getting this stuff, figures and all this stuff and everything, all stuff about police violence. Here's the thing: there are injustices going on, and things need to be adjusted, and things need to be rectified and everything. Equality needs to be here, where it's like it's about how you are as a person, not about your skin tone, look, skin color, look beneath and everything. And, oh, this person looks good. It turns out they're actually an abuser. Or this person, maybe I don't quite trust their appearance. Oh, it turns out they're a good citizen. All right, let's not judge based on that. As I say, as I'm going to dump on more people here. The whole point of it is, Chris Jericho said that and then has shown more tone deafness there and has just basically been an idiot for a number of months, has shown at least an ignorance. Now, whether he does or doesn't support Trump is neither here nor there, because there are plenty of conservative people in wrestling. If we start, and somebody said it best, if we start blocking out people that are conservative, then, or just dismissing wrestlers that are conservative, then we're going to dismiss a lot of the locker room. Whether we agree or disagree with their abilities, or, their views rather, their abilities in the ring should speak for that, and we should be able to take ourselves out of the moment. Now, that's difficult to do, as I'm going to illustrate with more people here, and Jericho has stuck his foot in his mouth a whole lot, and has lost the respect of a lot of people, understandably so, because at least he's showing ignorance, or even flat-out hatred, but I'm going to go with ignorance right now. Jake Hager's a fucking moron. I mean, there's no fucking two words about it. I mean, he's as bland as white bread. He's a good athlete, but I actually forgot to include him in on this, and actually I had a bunch of people, and I would have wrote all your names down, but thank you to everybody that responded to a tweet that I put up. It said, any more problematic Trump-supporting people from either in WWE or outside of WWE that I need to mention besides either of these people? And there were some that I didn't mention, and that people mentioned. There were some that I mentioned that maybe I'm wrong about. So, that being said, I'm sure I'm going to get some controversy here, but Jake Hager is just bland as white bread and really needs to take his head out of his ass. He also needs to learn to cut a goddamn promo where he doesn't sound like a goddamn accountant. And then Sunny. So let me just briefly say this about Sunny, because I dumped on Sunny recently. I mean, who hasn't dumped on Sunny? Who hasn't dumped in Sunny? I mean, a lot of the locker room did in WWE, because she, did favors for pills and stuff like that. Here's why I'm saying this stuff about Sunny in particular. Because she's like, oh, I get called all these names and I can't say the N-word. No, white people should not be allowed to say the fucking N-word. I mean, unless you're going to say it to your if you got black friends and you totally feel that you're comfortable with that and they're comfortable with you saying that, you better say it in a freaking room. Other than that, I mean, you got to really be comfortable with your friends, and your friends got to be comfortable with you to say that. Other than that, no, don't say that. And I say this as somebody that has said that, and oh boy, do I wish I could take that back. That word is fucking toxic as hell. But Sunny, oh, I'm going to call people the N-word, oh, white power, this kind of stuff. Sunny. And then she mentions about how DUIs don't make you a criminal or something like that. It's like, Sunny, how many DUIs, how many rehab trips have you had, you frickin' Arby's roast beef pile of bullshit? You goddamn stupid twat. The fact that Sunny was ever allowed to be in wrestling beyond her, 2 good years, where she specialized in tag team action, both in and out of the ring, I imagine, she does not deserve any more attention I'm giving her right here. But yeah, she just showed she's a white supremacist bullshit bitch. So that's really what, all I need to say there. Jaxson Ryker. Okay, here's the main one. Jaxson Ryker is a known Trump supporter. Now, whatever. They got plenty of people in there, and Vince McMahon and the McMahon family have donated to Trump, and I'm sure the cons have. At least Tony Khan has seemed to have, like, not necessarily gotten away from it, but had been like, hey, we're going to be out front and we're going to support people even though we've donated to that. Neither here nor there, plenty of companies have. But the McMahons have, and the McMahons got dumped, like, on incredibly. WWE did for tweeting what they did about George Floyd and all the injustices and stuff like that, and supporting dialogue among their talents and supporting their, diversity in their roster and pushing their talents. And sure, yeah, okay. So why it took forever for Kofi to be the first ever black WWE champion. Yeah, sure, Rock, half Samoan, half black. I'm not discrediting. That was a big deal too. But Jaxson Ryker, after the whole thing about what he said, you guys know the tweet. I'm not going to get into it right here. But thanking him and stuff like that, and even including the nickname or the catchphrase, "Forgotten No More." And everybody dumped on him. Kevin Owens, Joey Janela, who I really don't care for necessarily, but Janela doing that, I go, okay. And then you got Hangman responding to something. But Kevin Owens, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, but Ali and Owens are the two I want to point out because Owens got pissed. He says, you have the right to say it, but people have a right to basically dump on you, is what they said, and is incredibly ignorant what you said, and fucking bullshit. And Ali even said, thanks for doing this. Now I know what you feel in your heart. Because you have the right to have, freedom of speech in this country. And that's a great thing about it. But here's the thing. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of, freedom from, ridicule. You deserve to get ridiculed if you want to be blatantly ignorant, blatantly stupid and stuff like that. And yes, having different views is part of the American way. It is part of how we're always going to be, no matter whether the giant meteor hits us today or, within 25 years, hopefully, maybe sooner. But anyway, maybe when I'm doing this video. No, I kid. But Jaxson Ryker showed a blatant disregard for what he, just being incredibly tone deaf because he just had to say it. Now, I'm not going to talk about his military service. He served in the military, he came back, good for him. People in the military, all right, hey, is what it is. Because I got plenty of friends and family that have been in the military, and I have nothing but respect for them, whether I agree with their beliefs or not. But that being said, Ryker got dumped on. Now, the one thing I will disagree with, though, is when people leaked his address. Now, while it was funny in the sense of, holy shit, somebody did it, you can target the person if you want. Let's not target the family. Let's not do that. Let's not target the family. So let's mention some others. Candice Michelle. I want to believe that Candice Michelle is just coming from a position of ignorance, but I also entirely believe that Candice Michelle is just brain dead and just believes that she is being oppressed. She just doesn't strike me as somebody that understands the gravity of her words or the gravity of much of anything. And I've defended Candice Michelle in the past. As far as a performer, by the way, Sunny, never really cared for her beyond promos. Jaxson Ryker, mediocre worker, was basically a mid-level guy in Impact, which is like, which great, that's like being in purgatory, even at that time in Impact. Though good for them, they're rebuilding and they're doing some good stuff. Can't wait for the Impact fanboys to get upset at me because I dare to criticize a brand like I criticize all brands. Candice Michelle, she got better and became a champion, but got injury prone. Okay, happens to the best, and happens to those that rise up. It happens. But she just opened her mouth more and more and more, doing the reopen America thing and doing the pro-Trump stuff. Again, different views. But as a woman, she's showing a blatant lack of, respect for other women that have, endured hardships, and she's supporting a guy who does not like women. So that's something I don't get right there. But Candice, I hope it's ignorance. If it turns out to actually be what her legit feelings are, and that she, just is pretending to be just brain dead when she's actually completely tone deaf and incredibly insensitive, then she deserves to be dumped on. Undertaker, I stated what I felt about Undertaker and the with the shirt he wore and the hat he wore, and it's his right to do that, and it's my right to criticize him. Still, Undertaker, one of the greatest of all time, one of the greatest gimmicks of all time, period. I mean, there's no doubting that. Jerry Lawler, I mean, come on. Jerry Lawler was a territorial worker, mid-level at best. I never really cared for Lawler in the ring all that much, though I know he had a lot of fans. And his promos are pretty damn good. I liked his feud with Bret Hart. Unfortunately, that was a peak, and he's still with the company off and on, even into 2020 when he shouldn't be. Because his commentary was pretty much tone deaf by 2003, and it's now 2020. Michael Hayes. I mean, come on. Michael Hayes, what he said to Mark Henry, yes, he apologized to him, but Michael Hayes has been a known racist for a while. He really has. But one of the best talkers in the world. really one of the best goddamn talkers. I mean, he is the reason the Fabulous Freebirds got as over as they did in World Class. Because you look at, like, Gordy, fantastic worker, taken from us too soon. Buddy Roberts, great antagonist, and he was a great worker as well. But Hayes was the catalyst. Because he could talk him into the building. Now, he couldn't really work all that well. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great. But he could talk people into the building. So again, separating the character, all that. Road Dogg, I'm just going to say Road Dogg was a mediocre worker. He's a mediocre tag team worker. Wins and losses do matter. And Road Dogg, you earning the most money out of anybody in the Armstrong family when your brothers were infinitely better. And, I mean, maybe his father, well, I don't know, his father earned more. Maybe just for inflation. But the fact that his brothers, who were better workers than he could have ever hoped to have been, didn't attain a level of success, easy for me to say, that Road Dogg had, pretty fucking bullshit. Pretty fucking bullshit right there. And Road Dogg's also shown just, blatant lack of respect and stuff like that. And sure, is what it is. He's overcome his problems, and I'll give him that much credit. Vicky Guerrero. Well, she achieved a level of success thanks to the company, wanting to make good because, oh yeah, by the way, this business killed your, now, and you're a widow and, killed your husband. And she became a character and became iconic for, excuse me, but she also said that she would support the wall building. And she said other stuff and other ignorant stuff, and I really don't have a lot of respect for Vicky Guerrero, the person. I feel bad that she had to endure going through that with Eddie, but performer, sure. Chavo Guerrero. Yep, Chavo exists. Chavo's a good worker, but Chavo's just, I don't really care. Strowman, would you be surprised? I mean, Strowman had that tone-deaf response about people, doing GoFundMes, independent wrestlers, when he never, had to cut his teeth on the indies. He got signed by WWE because of how he looked. And yeah, he had to rise up and everything and earn a big contract, but still, he never had to cut his teeth on the indies. He never would have fucking survived. And he has also promoted some other stuff. But again, his opinion. He's a good big man. That's really all he is. He's also been booked into oblivion. Viking Raiders. Whatever. They're two Viking motherfuckers that were better as War Machine. Their beliefs, I mean, one of them's married to Sarah Logan, and they do hunting and stuff like that, and I don't necessarily... I understand the point of some hunting. I just don't like trophy hunting. I'm not saying that's what they were doing, but I don't know. Displaying the stuff like they did, I got a bit of a problem with that. However, it is their business, but I've seen some posts that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of. But again, Viking Raiders are better as War Machine. Sarah Logan's a good worker. Maybe she'll find some other stuff. And, I'm just going to throw this away here because you got AJ Styles. And AJ Styles' known thing, the gay community, and, being pro-Trump and stuff like that. Smiling when Kid Rock made his Hall of Fame speech. And Kid Rock was uninvited from appearing at WrestleMania because he was a fucking idiot. That's the thing. Kid Rock in the Hall of Fame, but Miss Elizabeth is not in the Hall of Fame. Cyndi Lauper is not in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame, but Kid Rock is. But AJ Styles, phenomenal wrestler, no pun intended. And then also you got Big Cass. And Big Cass, I hope, can get his drug and alcohol problems in check. I really do hope he can. But, yeah, he needs to really have some accountability and probably should, wake up and realize that, the current climate is going to call for change. So I'm going to wrap up with this, basically. If there's any wrestlers I forgot, please let me know. And let me know if there are any ways that, people change your opinions for the better or for the worse. I'm not going to discount what a lot of these performers bring to the ring, or any others. I know that there are people that I have met on indie shows that are Trump supporters. I'm pretty certain I know one of them, and I probably pissed him off with some of the posts I made. Even though I never made them to him, he might have seen, some of the tweets that I put up. It's possible. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but I still respect the guy as a performer. He's an incredible athlete. I'm not going to mention his name here, but I think people will know, and you can DM me if you'd like to know. But also, to wrap up, guys, I would like to know what you guys think of a video like this. Can you separate the wrestler and the performer? Because it's also hard when it comes to like Benoit, rewatching Benoit matches, rewatching Jimmy Snuka matches, knowing Jimmy Snuka got away with murder, and he fucking did, no matter what anybody says. But Benoit matches, taking a look at that shit. He, murdered his wife and child. And it's hard for me to watch his matches. Now, yes, that's drastically different than having different political beliefs or being a racist or being a homophobe. Though there's no excuse for either of those things. But, so murder is just a little a little bit up totem pole right there, a little bit up, on the hierarchy, a little bit up on the ladder. It's like way up on the ladder, and we can't grab the briefcase because Otis caught it somehow. I guess that's a rule. But here's the whole point. I want to try to be better. I'm not going to hide my opinions. I'm certainly not going to say that people who think differently than me are the worst people in the world. That being said, I'm not going to hide if I don't care for how people present themselves on social media, or if they want to have ignorant views. Because I'm sure I have some ignorant views on things. I've been called out about that. I appreciate that. But I will stand by everything that I say. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.